Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast. We thank you for tuning in with us this morning as we conversate about the latest sports topics that have taken place from this past weekend. And so, yes, we are back like a shark attack, back like we ain't got no clothes on our back like we left some. And when the world is no, for the world is in a better place when the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast is taking place. So thank you for tuning in with us this morning as we conversate about the latest sports topics that have taken place from this past week and will be upcoming this week. It is always a blast to have you all tune in and participate with us every weekend. As a reminder that every week we always like to begin our podcast by reminding our audience that the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast can be found on Facebook via the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast community page, on Instagram at the Early Morning Sports Talk POD, again on IG at the Early Morning Sports Talk POD, as well as our own Facebook pages via Brandon Price and Jamar Goodman. Generally, we have a guest for the weekend. We'll have a guest on Saturday, but not today. Today is Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Today is November 2020, 23rd of 2023, and we have seen yet again another fascinating week in the sports world. Okay, what we saw, for example, the LA Clippers bounced back. They are now on a winning streak, and it was really cool last night to see, Jamar, that Kawhi Leonard was taking his free throws in the second quarter in San Antonio, and the crowd started to boo. And Greg Popovich literally went and talked to the chief at the San Antonio Spurs stadium, and he took the microphone and he told the crowd himself on the mic to stop booing Kawhi Leonard. He stated that his reasoning was more so not to freeze him, but it was more so not to poke the bear. And so, as sports fans, I guess that means if you're poking the bear, you're poking a Michael Jordan, you're poking a LeBron James, and you don't want to poke Kawhi Leonard. I thought it would just be because of what Kawhi Leonard has done for that franchise and all the great moments he's had, and such a great player he is, future NBA Hall of Famer, etc., future basketball Hall of Famer, etc. And so, it was really interesting to see that. So, yeah, very, very cool to see Greg Popovich grabbing the mic last night in defense of his team. Additionally, we saw Travis Kelce, Jason Kelce, and the Kelce brothers have a great matchup this past Monday night, resulting in another loss for the Kansas City Chiefs, where the Kansas City Chiefs hit themselves and shot themselves in the foot by dropping open passes. Shout out to MVS for dropping that wide open dime uh, that Patrick Mahomes laid to him in the fourth quarter with the opportunity to beat the mighty Philadelphia Eagles. But shout out to the Eagles. They got it done. They got it done. That is what they do. They get it done. And shout out to Jalen Hurts. He should now be the leading candidate for MVP without a question. On the other hand, we saw, as example, within the NBA as well, LeBron James hit 39,000 points. This is a fantastic feat. And now LeBron James sits alone at this mark, 39,000 points to the great LeBron James. He is an all-time great NBA player. And so, with this being said, it's going to take a lot of work to beat that feat. And then lastly, our Chicago Bears, Jamar, dropped a heartbreaker to the Detroit Lions. And now the room gets hotter for Matt Eberflus. So with this being said, will the Bears do something to try to rejuvenate this franchise? Shaquille Leonard just got released. I don't know. Do you go after him, etc.? And so with that being said, uh, yes, introducing our brother from another mother this morning on the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast, Mr. Jamar Goodman. Good morning, sir. Good morning, my brother. Happy Thanksgiving. How are you?
Happy Thanksgiving, bro. Just glad to be here another day. Glad to be on here with you on this Thanksgiving morning, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Happy Thanksgiving as well to you and yours. Enjoy everything that the holiday gives you. Yes. And so, with that being said, well, let's get right into our sports talk this morning. And so, Jamal, let's talk about the Bears. The
All right.
Chicago Bears played a pretty decent game for the most part, and then collapsed in the last 3 minutes of the game, giving up two straight touchdowns, only to give up a touchdown to Mr. Former Bear, David Montgomery, who obviously prior to the season wanted to rub it in and took this game very personal. And the Bears literally let him rub it in. And so, just your thoughts from this game. Is it just the same old bad news Bears? Was it Matt Eberflus? What are your thoughts on this game?
Boy, I feel like there's a lot of things to unpack with this game. Um, First and foremost, I want to say our quarterback Justin Fields played pretty well, in my opinion.
Yep.
I felt like he came out with a sense of urgency here. He ran the ball with authority. He protected the football as best as he could. Um, he made throws where it mattered most. He threw that dart to DJ Moore for that touchdown to,
Mm-hmm.
really put them up in a position to where, in all honesty, if anybody that watched the game, the Bears should have put that game away. They really should have.
Yep.
But basically in the last 4.5 minutes of that game, when they was up 26, if I'm not mistaken, 26-14.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like this is where, coaching and the lack of knowing how to win games really came and played to bite the Bears behind.
Oh, you are in my head. Mm-mm-mm.
They're like, when you start the mindset of playing not to lose instead of playing to win, that's when you actually open up the door for things to happen negatively. There's no way that you should stop being aggressive on offense during that time span, especially against a team that we know that can score points in bunches when they start to get a rhythm.
Mm-hmm.
There's a stat out there, and I was in disbelief, but they said about 2 or 3 times to where no team, especially in the modern era, and I think no team since 1932, to where you force 3+ turnovers, you have possession of the clock at 40+ minutes. So you basically outgained them in time of possession 2-1 in this game, and you end up losing. The other teams with this stat are like 48-0 until that happened. So there's no way.
That's embarrassing.
That is, man. Like,
Yeah.
there's no way that you should not be able to close this game out. And then the timeout situation on that last drive for the Lions, like you basically just gave them like a a free play for them to get themselves together and then just score a touchdown to take. It's like you're not playing. Like, there's no sense of urgency. There's no general thought process of how you're supposed to go about this. You're like you're panicking. You're reacting. You're not like there's no there's no real
There's
thought
no
process.
there's no urgency. There's no heart. There's no
Nothing.
heart. There's no
Nothing
heart,
like
bro.
that.
Like, Dan Campbell would have been aggressive as FUCK.
Right. Especially
You
on
think
that.
Dan Campbell would have sat there and be like, "Oh, I gotta be." No.
At all, no. Dan Campbell, we know he has plans. He knows how to motivate. He knows how to execute, man. On that 4th-and-1, when we actually kicked the field goal, I mean, I felt like we should have went for it. Put our foots on their throats and put them away. Do not give them an opportunity.
At that point, you ain't got nothing to lose anyway.
Dude, especially against a team that we know that we are outmatched against, a team that we know that can run up the scoreboard. Why would you give them an opportunity to come down and do what they have to do? You should continue to keep the ball out of their possession. There's no way that you have 40 minutes of time of possession. You force Jared Goff to throw 3 picks, and I think we also caused the fumble too. So we have 4 turnovers in that game, and you lose, and you're up 26-14 with 4.5 minutes left in the go in the game. There's no way, Brandon. There's no way.
It is highly, highly, highly embarrassing. Highly, highly, highly embarrassing. And this is where the coaching comes in. Absolutely. When we talk about Dan Campbell as example, there's no way that Dan Campbell on 4th and 1 would have been passive in a moment like that. But you could look at Matt Eberflus and you could just look at him and say, Eberflus, oh, you look very passive. Like he looked like he's the type of guy that's on the sideline, just overthinking, questioning, head all down. Like, what am I going to do? You can look at him and tell that Chicago's just looming over him, and it's right here in his head. And he's just like stressed, worried. He goes out there, Jamar. He plays literally calls great plays for 40 minutes of the game. We had the ball for 40 minutes, 2/3 of the game. You don't suppose to lose a game when you have the ball for 2/3. I'm trying to think of an example, Jamar, of a game that I've watched lately to where a team had the ball for 40 minutes and they didn't blow the other team out.
Can't do
You know, generally it's a blowout. Generally, you know, that's a game that should be won by, let's say, 8 minutes of the fourth quarter. The game should be over with. But this goes to show you just where we are with Matt Eberflus. And what really got me, bro, in the game was when you mentioned, for example, 4th and 1. Okay. He didn't go for that. But even at the last, possession prior to, he's running the ball literally for, I believe it was three straight plays. He run the ball. And of course, no disrespect to our backs, etc. But I would have liked to just seen some aggression there, some type of aggression. But he ran the ball very, very passive. And so in a way, Jamar, I have to repeat exactly what you're saying because that's what I saw from the game too. That's what I saw from the game too. It just really makes me wonder because you could hear the people, you could hear Chicago screaming, Jamar, literally right after the game that he should be going Monday. And so I think at this point, we want to put this out in the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast that the time is ticking for Matt Eberflus. And at this point, it's just a matter of time or when it'll occur.
Right.
Agree?
Oh, yeah. And I feel like the only reason why it hasn't happened sooner, because if you get rid of him, then you don't have a defensive coordinator. Because of what happened at the beginning of the year. So it's like you kind of stuck until Black Monday on this one. So, and I also heard that Kevin Warren, our new president for the Bears, he's pretty much seen enough and is ready to clean house here for the most part. So no, I'm curious to see what direction this team takes when it's all said and done. It's pretty much like you auditioning for a job here right now. But yeah, nevertheless, man, dude, Eberflus, my gosh, wonderful coordinator, just not a head coach, man, at all.
Right. And we've learned and we've seen, man, that it's a lot of great coordinators in this league. They just are not great head coaches.
That's facts. That is facts.
That's just the reality. And Matt Eberflus, he's just one of those guys, unfortunately. Let me ask you this, Jamar. In regards to our quarterback situation, do you continue to let Justin play things out for the rest of this season as an audition? Or if you're the GM, do you have your mind made up already that you're going to stick with Justin?
I mean, I think it's a number of things with this one. I mean, for starters, yeah, you definitely continue to see what you got in Justin Fields, because at the end of the day, like, you still want to make a decision if you're going to pick up the 5th-year option or not, because this is just year 3. So, regardless, if you choose to pick up that 5th-year option, I mean, you got 2 more years with him. If not, then you got 1 more year with him. But I think the other thing to keep an eye on is the draft position, right? So currently we're fourth or fifth in the draft pick with our pick, but with the Panthers pick, we got the number one pick right now. So I think it all depends, also what happens with how we finish in the standings and also how the Panthers finish in the standings. Because as you know, there's two quarterbacks in this draft that's, I guess, quote unquote highly coveted, right? The USC guy that rumored to want ownership and only have a list of teams he wants to play for, and Wendy's commercials and Caleb Williams, and then you got Drake Mayo at North Carolina. And me personally, I don't even want to touch a quarterback from North Carolina again.
Exactly after Mitchell Trubisky.
Correct. So he probably is better than Mitch, but nevertheless, it's like, what would happen if we ended up with the number 3 and the number 5 pick in the draft, and those two quarterbacks go 1 and 2? Then what? So I think it all depends, but at least for the very least, you still got to see how the rest of the season plays out. I mean, Justin, like I said, he came back and played well. He definitely played well. I don't feel like that game was definitely not on him by any means.
Man, Jamar, it's a tough situation though. It's a tough situation to be in right now as a Bears GM. And I'm changing I'm changing this, everybody. Thank y'all for rocking with us this morning for the Bears' future. Because if you got the number 1 pick, we are rooting for Carolina, y'all. Okay, we rooting for Carolina. We hope they lose, okay? And we hope Bryce Young go out there and look terrible. And we don't care if everybody talk about how CJ Stroud should have been picked by Carolina. We need him to throw picks, all right, in Chicago. We need him to go out there and stink up the joint. We need Adam Thielen to be angry, okay? We do, all right? We need him to scream and do whatever he do in the media, all right? And so the Bears, you are in a situation to where you continue to play Justin Fields. He's in a way possibly a danger, because if he go out and win games, this ruins our draft position to get a highly touted wide receiver or etc. I kind of worry about that. And so you want to try to lose, I think at this point, on purpose, tank, so that hopefully we can try to get maybe a number 1, number 3 pick, or at least stay in that number 5 pick. Because if we continue to win maybe 1 or 2 games, we gonna move down the board. You know what I'm saying? Because you got a number of teams that, okay, Victor Young, you said offensive lineman. You got a number of teams that could be ahead of us. And you got another number of teams that's continuing to stockpile losses now too, Jamar, like Tennessee. These are teams that are losing on purpose now because they starting to focus on the rebuild. And so maybe they're not losing on purpose. They just happen to be losing and they playing rookie quarterbacks. And so I'm just, it's like a tough place to be in. If you play Justin and he goes out and but it's sad because he's auditioning too now for a job. That's just it's a sticky situation.
I definitely get what you're saying. I feel like if we didn't have the Carolina pick, then it would make things a lot more, worse than what it is based on the situation. Because at the end of the day, like going into the season, you wanted to see this team win games. You wanted to, be on a path to where there's progress, there's improvement, there's development. And, the record doesn't show. I feel like some of these players are developing, though, from the beginning. I can say that much. I can say like Stevenson on
yes, defense. You took the words out. Yep, Stevenson. Yeah, he's developing definitely.
He is. The 2 defensive tackles that we took in the second round, they are developing as well. Because entering this past week, we number 1 in the league in rushing defense. Like I would have never thought, but hey, that's where we are. So there are some few bright spots, but yeah, I get what you're saying, man. Like you still want the draft position because them assets definitely become very valuable when it's all said and done. But as long as I
keep thinking of that kid from Ohio State, I just keep thinking of him.
Dude, Marvin Harrison Jr.
Yep.
My gosh, I know. I want them too, but I think we'll be in position for him as long as the Panthers keep losing. We'll definitely be in position for him. And based on our trajectory, we'll definitely be in position for him. But I still want them to go out there and do well. I mean, them winning, if they was to win two more games this year, I don't think it's gonna hurt that much based on how the other teams are doing either. As long as the Panthers keep losing, then it's whatever. I just want to see progress.
Yeah. We are lucky to have the Panthers pick. And so hopefully the Panthers continue to lose. We would like to see Bryce Young throw interceptions. We would like to see Adam Thielen scream. We would like to see turmoil in Carolina, as worse as it is with the Bears. Because if so, then this gives us what we need to get our very first pick and do what I would like to see the Bears do, which is to keep Justin Fields and draft Marvin Harrison Jr.
Man, matter of fact, here's the Panthers' remaining schedule. They're at Tennessee, which I feel like they'll probably lose that game. At Tampa Bay, at New Orleans, home against the Falcons, home against the Packers, at Jacksonville, home against the Buccaneers. What, they can win one more game in that bunch based on how they're playing right now? Just one more, maybe?
Yeah, but then they can win a number of them games too because they got a lot of NFC South squads.
Yeah, but we can all agree that the Bucks, Saints, and Falcons are a better team than the Panthers right now.
They
By
are.
far.
They are. It's still a division game, but I can see them winning probably a couple of maybe two. Just because one of those games might be a division game, Jamar, and they could probably sneak out one of those games. Good morning, Jose. He stated Bears need a revival. Yes, the Bears indeed need a revival. Um, they need a miracle, my brother. And so this is where the Bears are. What are your thoughts on the Bears, guys? Do you think Victor Young, you stated offensive lineman? Jose, if you were to, think of the Bears' needs for the draft right now, what do you think? An offensive lineman? Would you like to see them grab a wide receiver? Or would you like to see them grab a quarterback? And so the Bears right now they're in a very unique position. And shout out to Carolina. So we hope that Carolina continues to the ball and continue to lose games, etc.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Vic, Vic also said at 4 or 5, either they should pick a lineman or move back and get 2 picks. We know what one will be if Fields doesn't, I guess, show the rest of the season.
True.
I mean, that is a true statement. I personally, I do not want to hit the reset button again. I'm hoping Fields plays well enough to where they don't have to do that. Because I'd rather if we have already pieces in place and he is proven enough to be that guy for us, I'd rather for us to build on top of that instead of hitting the reset button again. I'm basically I just don't need Fields turning into Mitch on us for the last like 6 games. That's what I don't need.
Absolutely. I don't want to see Fields definitely degress. I want to see him progress. It's very important. Let's consider this, y'all. All right. The Bears' future could be very bright here. Okay. Let's just say Justin Fields continue to progress, Jamar. That's what we want to see. We want to see him play good football. I mean, what the hell? You got nothing to lose. Continue to play good football for the rest of the season.
Right.
The Carolina Panthers continue to lose. Great, y'all, because if the Carolina Panthers continue to lose, we get that number 1 pick. And so imagine this. The team that we got plus a number 1 pick. Okay. We had a high draft pick last year. Okay. That's positive. And so in a way, this is a positive, guys, because we got the number 1 pick if the Carolina Panthers continue to lose. And so from there, we can go out and grab a highly touted wide receiver, etc., or a highly touted offensive lineman that could help this team. That's a way to look at it, right, Jamar?
Yeah. So I would say, so based on that scenario, right? If the Bears, let's just say we win 2 or 3 more games, and we still end up with a top 10 pick, but not a top 5, right? And the Panthers continue to lose and end up with the number 1 pick. At that point, it's pretty much like somewhat of a similar boat as last year, as in probably have a king's ransom for that first pick. As in probably one of those teams that be at 2 or 3, maybe you'll probably see, New England in that spot or the Giants or somebody like that. That's probably going to be looking for a quarterback. At that point, it'd probably be realistic for them to trade up to us either, and we end up with the 2nd or 3rd overall pick. They take their quarterback, we get that pick and more picks. We get our wide receiver or offensive lineman, and then we come back down with our pick and draft either the opposite, either the offensive lineman or the wide receiver we didn't get. And then we still have enough draft capital to fill in the rest of the holes that this team is lacking all the way around. So, I mean, if this team can continue to improve in certain areas and be competitive, and hopefully the coaching doesn't get in their way, and the Panthers continue to lose, this can be pretty good off season. And then not to mention, we still got a plethora of money for free agency. So this here, as long as they got the right people in place to make the right decisions here, then, we can actually, have a bright future sooner than later.
Right. I'm telling you. So this is what we're saying here on the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast. It's an option for a very bright future with the Bears. This is what we're trying to say, everybody. Because of where we sit and because of the fact that the Panthers are giving us what we need. And so, yes, Matt Eberflus might not be a part of that future. But at the same token, if we continue to progress with Justin Fields and the chemistry hopefully gets better, hopefully our defense continue to bond and get a stronger, outing because they've been playing a little better as the season has progressed. Honestly, they have, Jamar. Them linebackers have been kind of progress. I've been seeing some improvement from them, and that's very important to see.
TJ Edwards lead the league in tackles now.
Yeah. And so you're seeing progression there. And so these are a number of positives. And so we just got to take the positives and roll with it. So yeah, that's the Bears, man. And so with that, Jamar, if Justin needs help, yes, he indeed need help. And so hopefully we can get him some help, Jose. Hopefully. And so Jamar, let's progress now with our picks. We got 3 Thanksgiving slate of games that is taking place. And we'll start with a very traditional one, Green Bay at Detroit. And so who you got for this one and why?
Of course, I got the Lions. Shout out to Ian. I know he ain't here right now, but #grit, #OnePride. We know darn well that this matchup is not even close. The Lions haven't won on Thanksgiving since 2016, if I'm not mistaken. So that's 6 straight losses in front of their home fans on Thanksgiving. That definitely changes today. Jordan Love is not that guy, in my opinion. I feel like it was more so the Chargers floundered that game away as opposed to the Packers winning it, but that's neither here nor there for this game. There's no Aaron Jones. Jair Alexander's questionable. Their tight end, their rookie tight end Musgraves on IR. I just don't see it. I mean, they do have a couple of weapons in, Dobbs and Watson and Jaden Reed, but I don't think it's enough, man. I think the Lions, they're showing a lot of passion, a lot of fortitude. They're definitely fundamentally sound. And that word grit, they show a lot of that. So I think this game is a wrap. I think this is a blowout.
I got the Lions at home as well. Could the Packers come and use their momentum from last week against the Chargers and use it as a catapult to say, hey, we can beat Detroit. They haven't beaten us in a number of years on Thanksgiving, 6 straight losses. This team is allergic on Thanksgiving to winning, and as it has been in the past. But as we see, things have changed in Detroit. And so for that reason, I got Detroit. I think Detroit is the better team. I think it'll be a fun game. It's Thanksgiving, none to lose. Packers, however, they still fighting. They believe that they can possibly fight for a wild card, Jamar. And so they're gonna come out and play very hard today. I think it's a close game. It's a very NFC North type battle, but I think Detroit pull it out late as they did against the Bears. Shout out to the Commanders, man, for blowing my money last weekend, um, as they did a lot of people, I'm sure. Uh, and it's sad to see, but it might be very, very soon the last few weeks for Riverboat Ron Rivera in Washington. I don't see how they keep him, Jamar, past this season, especially if they don't make the playoffs, because you're just going to be in the same boat. Commanders at the Cowboys. Who you got?
Yeah, man. By default, I got to take the Cowboys, right? For basically a lot of things that you're saying here. It seems like the Commanders are on a hamster wheel here. They're just running but not going anywhere type deal. They just can't get out their own way. Sometimes, at times they show brilliance, but it's like, against certain teams that you're supposed to just put away, you end up losing. Like, there's no way that you should be losing to Tommy Danny DeVito last week at all. Got Saquon Barkley looking like Barry Sanders out here. Like, there's no way. And even though I'm not a super firm believer in the Cowboys, but I do know one thing: Cowboys are head and shoulders a better team than the Commanders right now. So give me Dallas.
Yeah, I'm with you. I got Dallas. Dallas, the defense is playing well. Shout out to the corner, man, opposite of Trayvon Diggs. Bard Beard, leading the league right now in interceptions and leading the league in touchdowns, returns, and interceptions as well. He's on his way to a Pro Bowl, y'all. And you would have think that this team would be reeling after Trayvon Diggs' injury, but this has allowed this kid to step up, Jamar, and so he stepped up big time, and you still got Stephon Gilmore down there too. So the Cowboys, they kind of putting together, and today is a good opportunity in front of a national crowd to let people know who they are. I do think, Jamar, this will be a tight game, bro. I just think the Cowboys gonna come in not taking the Commanders serious, if that makes sense, bro. And I could see this being a very good, close, tight game. Commanders might come out, put up some buckets, but I like the Cowboys because Dak Prescott, he don't get enough credit. He put up a lot of points too, man. And he's not as bad as people always make him out to be. He's good throughout most of the regular season. It's just when January comes, he gets allergic to the playoff moments. But throughout the regular season, he's a good quarterback. And so I think he continues his good quarterback in the day. I got the Cowboys.
I mean, you're not wrong. Sorry. No, as far as Dak, I mean, I guess in the past, he especially I think last year, he was getting a lot of slack for turning over the football with all the interceptions. But I mean, he's taking care of the ball this year. And I think ever since that, CeeDee Lamb complained about not getting the ball, I think Dak actually elevated his game, and it's actually been really, really efficient. He got over a 3-to-1 touchdown interception ratio right now, which is pretty stellar. So.
Yeah. Shout out to CeeDee Lamb right now, who has set the record for most receiving yards for a wide receiver in Cowboys history. That's over Michael Irvin, Daz Bryant, all those guys. And so CeeDee Lamb has progressed to being that dude. When there was that moment, Jamar, when Amari Cooper was let go, people were wondering, could he be that guy to step up?
Right.
And here he is. Yes. All right. Yep. Niners at the Seahawks. Shout out to the Seahawks for blowing it last week. What a field goal that was. Maybe it was the win in Los Angeles, Jamar. But that ball went whoop, and it went whoop.
Wait. The win at SoFi Stadium, that's indoors?
I know. It was just like, damn, I'm serious, bro. I'm like, how the hell did that ball just go straight and it just went whoop? I'm like, wow. Like, did they have a fan on or something? Like, was it a power damn fan that was up there or something? Like, they just took the ball and blew it right. And shout out to Geno Smith, by the way, man, that was injured, right, Jamar? And then literally came back on a final drive to lead them down the field to potentially win the game. If I'm Seattle, bro, I'm sick after that, bro. because you could be 7-3 right now. I'm sick because like that game was yours. Like in prior to the injury, you were winning the game, dominating. Your backup get in. He tried to be gunslinger Brett Favre, throw picks, just doing all.
That's Drew Lock for you. That's Drew Lock for you, man.
He get in trying to play backyard football.
Hey, man.
He get in letting it ride.
Hey, leave my man alone, man.
Leave it all out here on the line.
Hey, man, Drew was locked up, man. Leave him alone. That man was locked up.
Oh, my goodness. He got in the game, said, goddamn, we putting all the chips on the table.
That man thought he was Willie Beeman out here.
Oh my God, man. He got in the game, thought he was Willie Beeman or something, man. Like, I mean, just went crazy, man. And you look up at the game, and before you know it, the Rams got life. Before you know it, Pachua, he all in the game. You know, everybody on the Rams all, you know, believing. And it was just like, wow, like it was crazy, man. And so that loss hurts for Seattle. But and it really hurts because they got the 49ers today, bro. You know, this could have been a really, really, really tasty game, Jamar, with both of these squads being 7-3. Just imagine them both being 7-3 instead of 9-7-3, Seahawks 6-4. It's still a little tasty because possibility of the Seahawks winning, but the way San Francisco looks, bro.
Yeah, man. As you know, well, proof is in the pudding. A healthy 49ers team is completely different than what we saw, you know, in that stretch of games to where, you know, they had lost 3 straight. Because mind you, outside of that 3 straight, this Niners team has been looking flawless out here. And, you know, this is the first matchup between Seattle and San Fran. So, you know, this is a pivotal game because, you know, Seattle wins. They got the tiebreaker so far at the same record. Niners win. They got 2. That's technically a 3-game lead, but lead at that point. So games in Seattle, that makes the environment tough. But I'm still going with a healthy 49ers team, bro. I mean, look, when fully healthy, there's really hardly any chinks in that armor. I mean, Brock Purdy starts to play a lot more efficiently now. I mean, he had a game of his life last week against the Buccaneers.
He did, didn't he?
Christian McCaffrey is. Oh, man, he torched them guys up like everybody. It was like Oprah giving out prizes on her show. That's what it felt like. Christian McCaffrey, you know who he is. You know, George Kittle has been balling out lately. Deebo Samuel, that factor. You got the defense balling out. I mean, I get the 12th man and all, but and they're sneaky good. It's just levels to this, and I just think the Niners, unless the Niners fumble the game, it's the Niners' game to lose, and I got the Niners.
Yeah, Seahawks put up a fight, bro. I think, you know, that 12th man shows up. I think it's a hard-fought game. I think, you know, Seattle's defense is underrated. They really are.
I like that Witherspoon kid from
Illinois.
Yep.
Yeah. They don't give up the big plays. They dare you to beat them deep. And so I can see Seattle giving them all they can handle, Jamar. I really do. I think this game comes down to the 4th quarter. It's a division game as well. These teams know each other well. You know, Pete Carroll's a great head coach. But I think San Francisco find a way to toughen this out. Probably in the last 5 minutes of the game, they bully and they show, like you say, Jamar, that there's levels to this. So I can't pick Seattle. I can't. So we'll see what happens with this game. But until then, yeah, it's a Cancun, San Francisco. Dolphins at the Jets, bro, tomorrow night. Prime, Amazon Prime. What we want to say, Black Friday football now?
Yeah, that's I'm not mad at the NFL for that either. I'm not.
I like it.
I do too. It's like you get that itch, like, dang, I gotta wait until Sunday again. But wait, no, we got another holiday kind of. Let's throw the game on here. Like that's dope.
Mhm.
But yeah, I see they canceled our Disney Channel quarterback Zach Wilson. They
Yeah,
canceled
poor
our guy.
kid. He's benched now.
Yeah. That show, was a hit or miss at times.
Cancun.
Yeah, man, Cancun, man, it's Dolphins and Dolphins only. There's no path of victory. Well, maybe one. That means the defense has just got to turn up, like all the way turn up. Other than that, no, it's the Dolphins, bro.
And the other thing could be, hey, they take advantage of a cold, weather environment, nighttime. New York, it's a little chilly outside. Miami's used to the tropical. Possibly that plays a role. Possibly that could lead to New York, giving them all it can handle. So I think New York gives them a game, Jamar. But yeah, I think the Dolphins ultimately prevail, and I think they just too much to keep up with. So yeah, all right. Saints have Falcons, bro. 4-6, 5-5. Typical NFC South game. Who you got for this one?
Ooh, Saints at Falcons. Excuse me. I guess the Saints, man. I guess. And
Is Desmond Ritter starting, or is it
I think it's Shane Falco, also known as
right?
Taylor Heineke,
Right.
under center. I think the Saints put Michael Thomas on IR the other day. I don't know that either moves. I don't know if that moves the needle nowadays or not. But
Is Derek Carr starting? Is it Jameis?
I want to say it's Carr. So
Yeah. He's starting.
you know what? Give me the Falcons.
Okay.
Tomato, man. Give me the Falcons.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with the Saints. I think the Saints find a way with their other weapons, Jamar. You know what I'm saying? With Tyreek. I mean, sorry, with Taysom. Not Tyreek Hill, Taysom Hill. And man, I like this number 22 coming out the backfield. He's exploded. They got some weapons, man. Alvin Kamara. Use the weapons, New Orleans. Use the weapons. You win this division. That's all you got to do. Okay, don't turn the ball over. This isn't the toughest division. All right. Take care of the ball. Use your weapons. You win the football game. I got the Saints.
Fair enough.
Jaguars at the Texans. Big AFC South battle. Battle for first place, y'all, in this division. Yes, the Texans are 6-4. CJ Stroud is an MVP consideration, in my opinion. He's definitely the offensive rookie of the year. And they are at home against the Jaguars, who are 7-3, and whom looks to be having the, let's say, keys for the AFC South for years to come. But now the Texans look like they saying something about that, Jamar. Who you got for this one? Jaguars at Texans.
Yeah, we all came into this season thinking it's the Jaguars division is not even
Jaguars for
close.
years to come, right?
Boy, did not see CJ turning up this soon for this team. Did not see D'Amico Ryan's influence, this impact this soon for this team the way it has been. My gosh.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take Houston. I'm gonna take Houston at home. I like CJ. I think CJ has been playing so well. I don't want to say it put Trevor Lawrence on notice, but I'm pretty sure Trevor Lawrence's ears are perking, knowing that, like, hey, I got to come out and like continue to do my thing here, because if I don't, I'm gonna mess around and not only not win this division, I'm gonna mess around and not make the playoffs. Because that AFC is pretty compact. So
with that AFC North, especially.
Yes. So I'm gonna take Houston to win this game, man. I like them at home.
I'm gonna take the Jags, but I think the Jags. This is the thing. I think I can see why you picked the Texans, but the reason why I'm gonna pick the Jags is because I think Trevor Lawrence has been in these moments enough. That's the reason. I just think he's been in these big games enough, and I think he gets ready for the rookie. I think the rookie gives him all that him and the Jaguars can handle. I think CJ goes out and play another great game. I think we got a good slate of games, y'all, this week. Just an FYI, these gonna be games that's gonna come down to the fourth quarter. Just another one that comes down to the fourth quarter. And I think the Jaguars pull it out late, bro. I got the Jags. Steelers at the Bengals. Would have been a spicy matchup if we had Joe Burrow. But now we got Jake Browning. But they are at home. So Steelers played a tough fought game last week, Jamar, against Cleveland. Really good game. Just came up short in the tough defensive. Really, really good. Mike Tomlin's such a coach, man. He's such a hell of a coach. Who you got for this one? Steelers at Bengals.
Jake Browning versus Kenny Pickett. That's your box office ticket. That is the money that we are spending $55 on pay-per-view nowadays. That's the headliner. My gosh. I mean, from the eye test, Jake Browning didn't look too bad when he stepped into that game.
Yeah, he was putting the ball in there. He got a nice long ball. It's a pretty ball.
And he didn't look rattled or anything like that. He looked somewhat comfortable out there. So he didn't look terrible. He didn't look elite, but he didn't look terrible. He like a competent game manager here. I wanna say, see, here's the wild card for me. The fact that the Steelers fired Matt Canada, the other
coordinator Matt Canada, yeah.
So that gives me an X factor for the Steelers to just maybe, actually be competent on offense now. Maybe they can actually score some points. If they can score some points with the way that defense has been playing, then that's a whole nother element to that team that we have not seen that can elevate them.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a division game. That's gonna be hard fought. You know what? Yeah, I'm gonna trust Mike Tomlin. I'm gonna take the Steelers.
Oof. Yeah, I'm with you. I'm gonna take the Steelers as well. I think the Steelers find a way to win a tough, hard-fought game on the road. AFC North rival game. It's gonna be a tough game, but I'm gonna take the Steelers. Panthers at the Titans. We need the Panthers to lose, but do the Panthers go in and beat Tennessee? Because I mean, Tennessee ain't playing the best football.
Not at all, but I mean, at this point, like, I will have to pick against the Panthers every week until they show me they can beat somebody. Look, I understand they caught the Texans team lacking. I don't know what they were doing that day, but I trust the Titans a little bit more than I trust the Panthers right now. And with the Titans being at home too, that adds another element there. So give me Tennessee by default.
Yeah, I think Tennessee pulls out a late game here. I think the Panthers give Tennessee all they can handle. Not that Tennessee's going to give, like they're all that, but, Tennessee, I think, squeaks it out, bro. I'll leave it at that. Bucks at the Colts. Baker Mayfield is turning out to be who we thought he was. And the Colts coming off a bye. Who you got?
Ooh. That's tough. I guess whoever protects the football more is probably going to win this game. I'm going to take my chance. Don't tell Victor this. I'm going to take my chances with Indianapolis on this one.
I'm with you, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll leave it at that.
I think, yeah. Indy at home. I think that's big here. I'm interested in the wide receiver battle, man. I want to see those two wide receivers for Indy, those big guys, versus just seeing how Mike Evans, the big guy, perform. These are two teams with two um, physical receivers that's on the outside. Bucks came up short last week, but I like Indy coming off a bye. I think their legs are fresher. I got Indy. Patriots at the Giants. Check this out. This is battle not only for NFL draft positioning, but it's an interesting battle because we got backup quarterbacks, both in who do we got? Zippy maybe for New England, and then we got Danny DeVito's stepson for the Giants. So who you got for this one, bro? You got Danny DeVito's stepson, or you got Zappy?
I can't even decipher this game. This is horrible. Golly. Like neither team has any wide receivers. Neither team really has a quarterback. Defense is about the same at this point.
Yeah.
I guess the only difference is one has 6 Super Bowls and the other one hasn't even been to a Super Bowl as far as head coach. So I guess New England. I don't know, man. Just throw a dart in a closed room and just let it hit something. Give me New England.
I got the Giants at home. Giants, as we know in the recent Super Bowls, man, they found a way to beat the Patriots and stop Tom Brady for getting 2 more rings. But I got the Giants at home. That's the biggest reason. I think Saquon Barkley has a good game, and it's a tough, tight, fault game. I think the Giants maybe, make a few more plays than the Patriots, but this is an evenly matched game right here. I don't see really what's the difference between the teams, like you state. But I got the Giants at home. Browns at Broncos. This is a good one, I think, Jamar. Shout out to Russell Wilson, man, who's playing great football, and he has the pieces finally around him, Jamar, that are playing better football. Very important. But the Browns, shout out to them. They are just a great all-around team. It doesn't even matter about the quarterback. Who's back there? They're winning games against tough opponents. Who you got for this one, Jamar?
Hey, I don't know. Ever since one of these teams got kicked in the mouth with 70 points, they've been playing a lot better. They beat some worthy opponents here, some name-worthy opponents, and found ways to win. And I'm seeing a little of that Russ magic that I used to see in Seattle with some of these throws, some of these plays. I'm gonna take the Broncos. We Broncos country. Let's ride. We're gonna ride.
Yeah. I like the Broncos at home too. Let me see. They won last week.
They won 4 in a row.
Right, but I'm saying how they won. I'm thinking they won off a field goal, and a mistake, of course. They've been getting lucky, the Broncos, as of late.
They had a clutch touchdown last week with Sutton in the corner.
Right. They had a clutch touchdown, and then what happened after that with the other team on offense? They drove down, right?
Yeah.
Remind me, who did they play last week? They played the Vikings, right? And the Vikings.
Yes, they end up missing they missed that field goal.
And missed the field goal.
It was a long attempt too.
Right. Yeah. And the Vikings blew that game. Yeah. But the Broncos still found a way to win it, right? I mean, so I got the Browns, Jamar. I'm gonna take the Browns, not the Broncos. I think the defense of the Browns step up, and they're all over the field, bro. They are all over the field. This is a dangerous team if they would have Deshaun Watson. But I think they might continue. They don't even know if they're gonna do great. Eventually, I think teams will eventually catch on to them. But right now, they're on a roll, man. The Broncos are too, but I think the Browns just find a way to turn these guys over, make them kind of be the team we thought they were.
I
So yeah. Go ahead.
no, I get where you're coming from. I guess I'm playing devil's advocate here. The only reservation I have with the Browns is the quarterback play and going into a hostile environment, into Mile High Stadium, to a defense that ever since they got kicked in the mouth by that 70 points, they have tightened it up considerably. So I want to see if the Browns can move the ball with what's his name? Is it DTR? Whatever they call him.
Mhm. Number 17 is what I call him.
Fair enough. That guy that's taking the place of Deshaun Watson. I just want to see if they can move the ball, because if they can't, that's gonna be tough.
Yeah, it's an interesting game in a lot of ways. Very interesting game. Um, yeah. Rams at the Cardinals.
It's like the Rams are a tale of two teams, right? In the beginning of the year, we saw them being, like, okay, maybe this team can be something. And then the other tale is, man, this team is pathetic. They just
Right.
can't do anything. I don't know what Rams team is going to show up, but I do know one thing. I know one player and between both these teams is out here, showing these people what he can do, and that's Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray has
Exactly.
every incentive to go out here and light it up and win games. Therefore, I'm gonna take the Cardinals on this one.
Mm-hmm. I'm with you, Jamal. I'm gonna take the Cardinals and upset at home. I'm gonna go with the Cardinals. Yeah. Um, maybe the Rams go out and whoop the Cardinals for that because I picked them. But the way this kid Kyler Murray has played, he got something to prove, bro, for real. Your Bills, Jamar, at the Eagles.
Who Bills?
Yours. And so last week they had a fantastic outing against the New York Jets, um, putting the brakes on them 32-6. Do they go to Philly and do the same, Jamar?
Cancun.
All right, yes, Philly. I'm with you. Yeah, that's the response there. Chiefs at the Raiders. Aiden McConnell, Purdue baby. Antonio Pierce. They got the Chiefs at home. Who you got for this one? Is this a trap game for the Chiefs?
It can be if wide receivers can't catch the
Dropping the ball.
freaking ball. Like, my gosh, you almost made me say the F bomb on here.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, like, I kid you not. Like, if wide receivers actually caught the ball with some consistency with this team probably only have one loss, and that'd be to the Broncos, because the Broncos just came out there and just that was something different. But
Yeah.
yeah, this team should be 8-1.
9-1. They 7-3.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Should be 9-1, and that's 7-3. So, um, I'm still going to take the team with the better quarterback and the better team overall. And what Antonio Pierce has done with the Raiders has been a sensation so far to keep them in relevancy, based with that lack of talent all the way across the board. But I'm definitely going to take the team that's probably going to be pissed off as far as how they lost that game against the Eagles, and probably going to take it out on the Raiders. So,
Yeah. I got the Chiefs as well. I don't bet against Patrick Mahomes, but I do think the Raiders, Jamar, in this week, they give them all they can handle, bro. There's gonna be another one. I think that comes down. I think a lot of these games come down to the fourth quarter, last few minutes. I got the Chiefs in a late one. Really good one. Really good hard fought game. Raiders could pull that out, really. Ravens at the Chargers. Brandon Staley, went off last week, Jamar, in the not last week, Monday. Went off on Monday, screaming at the media, telling them, "Hey, stop questioning me. I know what I'm doing." It's in other words, he put the blame on his players. Okay, so I can imagine he's probably lost the locker room with some players in that locker room after that, bro. Ravens at the Chargers, but they are at home. So who you got for this one?
dude's a clown.
Yeah. He's probably in his last few probably his last what he got another 7 games, so he got to do something here, man. That clock ticking for real.
Yeah, as we all know, should have been let go after last year's debacle against the Jags in the playoffs. That's what should have happened. But needless to say, on this particular one here, man, I'm taking the Ravens, who are arguably, you can arguably say they arguably the best team in football overall. You can that's a legitimate argument for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm taking the Ravens, man. And that defense travels. Lamar's been playing stellar this year. Overall, the offense has moved the ball a lot better. Special teams has been amazing. That team has been sensational.
Yeah, they have one of the best special teams units in football. That's a fact. Um, Best defense in football. That's a fact. Um, they right there with Cleveland. They right there with the Eagles. These are the elite defenses. The Chiefs. Um, and defense travels, man. Justin Herbert is a great quarterback. I think again, Jamar, the Chargers give the Ravens a game. Chargers take advantage of being at home. They play a lot looser at home. The Chargers, that offense, they put up a lot of points at home, Jamar. But that defense travels. I think it's a fun game. I think the receivers for the Ravens step up this week actually because they are playing a mediocre, terrible defense for the Chargers, who really can't stop a parked car outside of the Chicago Bears. They can't really stop a parked car this season. So I think the Ravens offense is, they play pretty good this week. They got a good chance. So I got the Ravens in a very good, entertaining, fun football game. Our Bears, bro, at the Vikings. Do the Bears go in with Justin Fields? Humble the Vikings, bro. What's your thoughts?
It's doable.
Okay.
It's doable. I don't think Justin Jefferson will be activated off of IR in time for the game. I think you'll probably see Justin the following week at this point, just based on what I'm reading. But no, it's definitely possible. I think there's a lot of players that in this game that has a lot of chip on their shoulders here to come out and prove something. Even Dobbs, he has a point to prove out here that he's a starter worthy quarterback in this league. But same goes for our guy. He's out here, got a lot. He has a lot to prove too, not only to himself but to the people that's making the decisions for this team. And I'm sure, believe it or not, Eberflus has something to he got a. I would imagine he has some type of chip on his shoulder. Now that's a Doritos chip or Lay's plain chip. That's a whole nother ball game. But nevertheless, he has yet to win a division game in his tenure with the Bears. So I mean, you might want to win one, buddy, if you trying to keep a job in this with this team or even in this league in general. I'm just saying. But nevertheless, all I know is Justin plays the way he did last week again on Monday Night Football. I'm gonna take our chances and I say we win. So I'm taking our team.
Okay. Yeah, I'm picking the Vikings. Generally, when I pick against the Bears, they lose. So I think the Vikings are a better team, and I think the Bears just find a way to implode. And it would depend on Justin. If Justin goes out and play good football, the Bears will be in the game. But if Justin can't play his game, the Vikings whoop our asses, literally. And so that would just be the story of the game. But I think the Vikings find a way to pull this out in a hard fought game. I think the Bears come out motivated, Jamar. They play good. But I think our Bears do what they've been doing a lot lately. They implode in the fourth. And the Vikings, I'm not going to say that they any better, Joshua Dobbs. But Joshua Dobbs, I think, will find a way to use his legs, control the ball, use that crowd. I think the Vikings squeak this one out. I think they squeak it out late. I got the Vikings. So yes, I hate to pick against our Bears, but that's just the reality, bro. That's the reality. And so, yeah, I didn't even know. I didn't even share the screen. But regardless of the fact, y'all, whoever's rocking with us, that viewer, they know about the NFL schedule. So enjoy football, enjoy football. And so, Jamar, with that being said, bro, we have made our Week 11 picks. We'll be back, Week 12 picks, excuse me. We have made our Thanksgiving Day picks today. We have made our Black Friday picks, and we have made our picks for Sunday. But guess what, y'all? We'll be back Saturday morning as well. But even prior to that, Jamar, we still got to do our final thoughts and shout outs, bro. And so, any final thoughts and shout outs as we head into Thanksgiving Day?
Yeah, so happy Thanksgiving, everybody. I know this year in general has been probably one of the more tougher years for a lot of people based on economy and stuff like that. So you know, hang in there, be strong, do what you got to do to survive out here. I tell myself that this situation won't last forever. So just weather the storm, get through it. Have faith, pray about it. But nevertheless, enjoy the time with your loved ones today. I mean, everybody's Thanksgiving spread is different, but nevertheless, I mean, it's it's a day, I guess, for nowadays for us to just have something to be thankful for. And nevertheless you get full and have a to-go plate, so enjoy that.
Amen. Exactly. Got a lot to be thankful for, y'all. We got life, we got breath. You got life and breath, you got an opportunity to make a change. With God, all things are possible. We got a lot to be thankful for, y'all. Be thankful for your friends. Be thankful for your loved ones. Be thankful for the good moments, the bad moments, the teaching moments. Be thankful. And so, again, happy Thanksgiving. And so, with that being said, on behalf of the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast, we would like to thank you all for tuning in with us this morning. Continue to chop it up with us, y'all, and support our podcast on various platforms. And if you are and would love to talk sports with us on the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast, we are here and would love to do so with you. Your love and support is truly appreciated. And we hope you all have a blessed and safe holiday for Thanksgiving. We see you all on Saturday morning. Peace.